Hi dear, hi. What's happening? Can't you sleep well tonight? Yeah, I know, it's quite colder right now. Yes, autumn has finally settled in, I would say. And it's pretty chill outside, so you do have to wrap yourself up in your blankets. Yes. Oh no, yeah, I can stay here with you and help you fall asleep if you want. As you can maybe hear, there's the fireplace lit up in the other room, so that should help you warm up. Yes. And it's also very soothing and relaxing sound. Yeah, I've also lit up some candles. Yeah, right here, as you can see. I hope you like the smell. It's amber and vanilla. Yes, I know it's your favorite, so I think that as well should help you relax and fall asleep with a very nice, comforting perfume. But if you are still a bit cold, I do have something for you. I brought you this very cozy fleece hoodie. Well, it's not a hoodie, it's more like a sweater. Yeah, it's so soft and really comfortable to wear, even to sleep in. So I'll just give this to you and you can wear it if you want to feel even warmer. Okay. And another thing, I know you don't usually sleep with your socks on, which is something I agree with, but if your feet are still very cold, which is one of the main reasons why you could feel cold, I do have a choice of nice, warm, cozy socks for you. Yeah, that you can choose from. Well, they are actually the same kind of socks, but they have different colors and slightly different patterns. These are orange and brown, whereas these are more of a yellow and brownish color. So which one would you like to wear? Okay, so here you are, grab your pair, and now I believe you should feel a bit better, right? Yeah, I know. So what do you say if I just like brush your hair to help you fall asleep? I remember that when you were younger, that was one of the only things actually that could make you fall asleep. Yes, and I have here this nice wooden comb. Yeah, I won't hurt you, I promise. I'm not here to dislocate your knots or whatever. I just want to brush through your hair in a very calming and relaxing way to help you fall asleep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me just... You have very beautiful hair. I know. You've been growing them out lately, right? Yeah. I think this style really suits you. I know it's not properly a style, since you haven't been to the hairdresser for a while, but whatever this is, you look really beautiful. Yeah. Oh no, you know, I tried to have long hair. I did for like 3 years. Yeah, that was my longest time with long hair. But I really see myself better with short hair. But you can really pull this whole like look off. Yeah, I couldn't. Yes, you are really, really beautiful. Okay, how are you feeling? A little bit more relaxed? Yes. Are you feeling even a little bit sleepy? Good, that's good, love, that's good. So, one final thing I would like to do to see if you can fall asleep is reading you a bedtime tale. Yes, I know I used to do that a lot when you were younger, but the book I have is this one here. It's The Tales of Beedle the Bard by Warlock. Now, little disclaimer, you do know that now I don't agree with Rowling's ideas and, let's say, politics, lifestyle. I don't agree with her at all, and I don't encourage funding her by purchasing the Harry Potter merch, any kind of merch. Yeah, but I already had this book. I bought it like 15 years ago or so, and well, I think we can still enjoy this magical world that was part of both my and your childhood, and we can do that regardless of the author's ideas right now, because that world becomes ours. Yes, so we have every right to still enjoy it, but not funding the author. Okay, so that being said, my little TED talk here is finished. I will read you a tale from this book to help you fall asleep. So, let's see. Do you want me to read The Wizard and the Hopping Pot, The Fountain of Fair Fortune, The Warlock's Hairy Heart, Babbity Rabbity and Her Cackling Stump, or The Tale of Three Brothers? The Three Brothers, which is, of course, the most famous one. The Warlock's Hairy Heart? Okay, that's a very fun one. So, this is the first page. Now I will read and you will sleep, okay, my love? So, there was once a handsome, rich and talented young warlock who observed that his friends grew foolish when they fell in love, gambling and preening, losing their appetites and their dignity. The young warlock resolved never to fall prey to such weakness and employed dark arts to ensure his immunity. Unaware of his secret, the warlock's family laughed to see him so aloof and cold. All would change they prophesied, when a maid catches his fancy. But the young Warlock's fancy remained untouched, though many a maiden was intrigued by his haughty mien, and employed her most subtle arts to please him. None succeeded in touching his heart. The Warlock gloried in his indifference and the sagacity that had produced it. The first freshness of youth waned, and the Warlock's peers began to wed, and then to bring forth children. Their hearts must be husks, he sneered inwardly, as he observed the antics of the young parents around him, shriveled by the demands of these mewling offsprings. And once again he congratulated himself upon the wisdom of his early choice. In due course, the Warlock's aged parents died. Their son did not mourn them. On the contrary, he considered himself blessed by their demise. Now he reigned alone in their castle. Having transferred his greatest treasure to the deepest dungeon, he gave himself over to a life of ease and plenty, of his comfort the only aim of his many servants. The Warlock was sure that he must be an object of immense envy to all who beheld this splendid and untroubled solitude. Fierce were his anger and chagrin, therefore, when he overheard two of his lackeys discussing their master one day. The first servant expressed pity for the Warlock, who, with all his wealth and power, was yet beloved by nobody. But his companion jeered, asking why a man with so much gold and a palatial castle to his name had been unable to attract a wife. Their words dealt dreadful blows to the listening Warlock's pride. He resolved at once to take a wife, and that she would be a wife superior to all others. She would possess astounding beauty, exciting envy, and desire in every man who beheld her. She would spring from magical lineage, so that their offspring would inherit outstanding magical gifts. And she would have wealth at least equal to his own, so that his comfortable existence would be assured, in spite of additions to his household. It might have taken the Warlock 50 years to find such a woman, yet it so happened that the very day after he decided to seek her, a maiden answering his every wish arrived in the neighborhood to visit her kinsfolk. She was a witch of prodigious skill and possessed of much gold. Her beauty was such that it tugged at the heart of every man who set eyes on her, of every man, that is, except one. The Warlock's heart felt nothing at all. Nevertheless, she was the prize he sought, so he began to pay her court. All who noticed the Warlock's change in manners were amazed, and told the maiden that she had succeeded where 100 had failed. The young woman herself was both fascinated and repelled by the Warlock's attentions. She sensed the coldness that lay behind the warmth of his flattery, and had never met a man so strange and remote. Her kinsfolk, however, deemed theirs a most suitable match, and eager to promote it, accepted the Warlock's invitation to a great feast in the maiden's honor. The table was laden with silver and gold bearing the finest wines and most sumptuous food. Minstrels strummed on silk-stringed lutes and sang of a love their master had never felt. The maiden sat upon a throne beside the Warlock, who spake low, employing words of tenderness he had stolen from the poets, without any idea of their true meaning. The maiden listened, puzzled, and finally replied, "You speak well, Warlock, and I would be delighted by your attentions if only I thought you had a heart." The Warlock smiled, and told her that she need not fear on that score. Bidding her follow, he led her from the feast, and down to the locked dungeon where he kept his greatest treasure. Here, in an enchanted crystal casket, was the Warlock's beating heart. Long since disconnected from eyes, ears, and fingers, it had never fallen prey to beauty, or to a musical voice, or to the feel of silken skin. The maiden was terrified by the sight of it, for the heart was shrunken and covered in long black hair. "Oh, what have you done?" she lamented. "Put it back where it belongs, I beseech you." Seeing that this was necessary to please her, the Warlock drew his wand, unlocked the crystal casket, sliced open his own breast, and replaced the hairy heart in the empty cavity it had once occupied. "Now you are healed and will know true love," cried the maiden, and she embraced him. The touch of her soft white arms, the sound of her breath in his ear, the scent of her heavy gold hair, all pierced the newly awakened heart like spears. But it had grown strange during its long exile, blind and savage in the darkness to which it had been condemned, and its appetites had grown powerful and perverse. The guests at the feast had noticed the absence of their host and the maiden. At first, untroubled, they grew anxious as the hours passed, and finally began to search the castle. They found the dungeon at last, and a most dreadful sight awaited them there. The maiden lay dead upon the floor, her breast cut open, and beside her crouched the mad Warlock, holding in one bloody hand a great, smooth, shining scarlet heart, which he licked and stroked, vowing to exchange it for his own. In his other hand he held his wand, trying to coax from his own chest the shriveled, hairy heart, but the hairy heart was stronger than he was, and refused to relinquish its hold upon his senses, or to return to the coffin in which it had been locked for so long. Before the horror-struck eyes of his guests, the Warlock cast aside his wand and seized a silver dagger. Vowing never to be mastered by his own heart, he hacked it from his chest. For one moment, the Warlock knelt, triumphant, with a heart clutched in each hand. Then he fell across the maiden's body and died. "I see you've fallen asleep, my love. I see you've fallen asleep. I am so very happy to see that you're finally sleeping. And I wish you a long, long night of peaceful and wonderful dreams, so that you can wake up tomorrow relaxed, refreshed, and recharged by this night of sleep, full of energy to face another hopefully wonderful day. Good night, my love.